In the last few weeks, we have looked at two statements Jesus made about himself. They were, "I am the light of the world," and "I am the resurrection and the life." These were quite a surprise to the Jews listening to this, because he was using the personal name of God when he said them. Back in the times when the Hebrews were slaves in Egypt, God spoke to Moses and told him to go and tell the Hebrews that they would soon be free. When Moses asked who he should say this message was from, God gave him his personal name, "I am who I am." It describes God as best as language can do. I am who I am. There's nothing else I can use to describe who I am. "Tell them, I am sent you," he said. That is why it was a shock when the Jews heard Jesus say these phrases. He was saying he is the same person. Of course, we know he is, but Jews generally have never accepted this. Over the next 2 weeks, we will be looking at another statement Jesus made using that name or title of God. "I am the bread of life." It comes twice in John chapter 6. We have read one of them already. Is Jesus just saying he's the provider of food for the people in the world? Well, at the start of John 6, he had done exactly that. That day, a large crowd had followed Jesus to listen to what he would say and see what he would do. They had been so intent on doing this that they had travelled far from home without taking food with them and were getting hungry. There were about 5,000 men, without counting the women and children present, so maybe more than 15,000 mouths that needed to be fed. You remember that one boy had left home prepared for a day out and had a meal for one with him, consisting of 5 small loaves of bread and 2 fish. But that was plenty in the hands of Jesus. The whole crowd was fully satisfied with the feast Jesus created from that small meal. I do wonder if the quality of the food that day was the best they had ever tasted. Remember how the water Jesus turned into wine at the wedding he went to in Cana was the highest quality the guests had ever tasted? He could easily have done that here as well with the food. And you'll remember, not everything got eaten even. The disciples picked up the leftovers and filled 12 baskets that were put to some other use that we're not told about. So yes, Jesus does provide food, and he can also provide miraculously. He does that for us every day, which is why we must give thanks to God for our meals. On the day after he had fed the crowd, many of the same people came looking for him again. He was available when they were looking for him. That's a great thing just by itself. Jesus was so busy when he lived here, with so much to do, yet he was always available to help people. That is just as true today. He has a strong desire for a relationship with each of us and will always be available to help in our times of need, be that getting advice, comfort, companionship, or whatever. The people were searching him out, maybe to see if he would give them another super eating experience. Jesus has a much wider purpose, and he will make that very clear to the miracle seekers. If I watch a magician, it's normally just to marvel at the tricks they can do. I don't pay attention to the magician themselves. It's for my amusement. Jesus makes it very clear to them that they are not really interested in seeing him, the person, but only wanting to see another miracle, and probably one they would benefit from directly: more nice food. His answer to them says that they need to be thinking further ahead than getting daily food by working. He says your effort should be trying to get hold of something from Jesus that will last forever. He says he is the source of that. That's something for us to think about too. Where do you get satisfaction in life from? They knew about God and how important it was to try to please him. So they asked, what do we have to do the works God requires? Many people are trying to do exactly that today. They are thinking, what do I have to do to get God's favour, both now and forever? But they don't think to search this out, thinking they know best. Their answers are usually wrong. Trying to balance the bad things they do with the good things is not enough. Trying to live a good life in a body that sins is never going to bring satisfaction. Jesus gives the answer. The answer Jesus gives is a simple answer, not loads and loads of rules to follow, things to do, things to avoid. He says that what we have to do is believe in the one God has sent. Jesus is saying, believe in me. That's the right answer for everybody who wants to try to please God. You cannot do anything. It is a matter of trust, faith. Don't trust in yourself. Don't believe in yourself. Many in our society today think that what matters in life is to believe in yourself. If you do that, everything will be fine. Jesus makes it very clear that what makes our lives okay is believing in him, not trusting in ourselves. Why is that? It's because we are not trustworthy. We do not know what's best. Jesus does. So what Jesus says here is still relevant to each of us today. Believe in him and then trust him every day. They still haven't understood though. They want to see a miracle performed by Jesus so that they can believe in him. And they think back to the time when the children of Israel ate manna, the bread that was provided miraculously from heaven for them. They are still thinking about food. What's strange to me is that only yesterday they saw and benefited from Jesus feeding them from just a boy's small meal. It seems the same today. There are plenty of good reasons to trust Jesus for who he is, but people just want to see more and more and more. It'll never be enough. They will never accept the evidence put before them. In fact, Jesus one day said, even if somebody came back from the dead with a message for them, people would not believe it. Jesus does correct their misunderstanding about who gave them the bread, the manna in the wilderness. It was God himself who did it then. Jesus continues by saying that the bread that came from heaven was really just an indication of what God would do one day when he sent his bread from heaven to bring life to the world. He is, of course, talking about himself. I'm not sure that people have really understood yet what Jesus is referring to, but they are really wanting to have this new sort of bread. It's bread that brings life. And Jesus is not talking about food for daily satisfaction of physical hunger. He's talking about spiritual hunger, that deep inner need that people know they need something to satisfy. The listeners have realised, however, the person to ask for this is Jesus. They have made the right request to exactly the right person. We do not need to look anywhere else for satisfaction in our lives today. Jesus is the right person. And this is where we get the statement from Jesus that is remarkable. He says that the answer to the request for him to give them this bread is actually himself. It's a person. Jesus says, I am the bread of life. It's me. You don't have to look anywhere else. You don't have to try and find all different ways. It's me. Come to me. Our reaction to that invite from Jesus proves whether we believe in the one that God has sent or not. If we believe he is truly God the Son and come to him, then he will be the bread of life to us. It is what happens when we put our trust in him as our Saviour. We have surely appreciated at that time that we could not solve our own problem of sin, our wrongdoing against God. It's like we're hungry for a solution to it, but we cannot find it ourselves. So we come to put our trust in Jesus, and immediately that hunger for a solution goes away. He is the solution, and it happens immediately. Many people have searched for many years to find that truth. Some sadly never find it. They are desperately searching for satisfaction. They try to find it in money, or in possessions, or in work, or in family, or in fame and other areas as well. But these will never satisfy. But Jesus is available today still for people to come to him and have their hunger satisfied. And Jesus goes on to say more than that. He says that those who come to him will never go hungry. That means we can never be lost again once we put our trust in him. But it also means that he is able to satisfy us in our lives every day. Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the bread of life, our sustenance every day. Next time, we will investigate what Jesus actually means when he says, I am the bread of life, and particularly how that is so helpful to us as we live our own lives.